Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about something that I think is very disturbing. And it isn't necessarily gun-related, but it would have an effect on a lot of gun-related communities. I want to talk about how Biden is thinking about partnering with outside companies, private industry, to spy on domestic conservative groups. Now, this is all part of their narrative that, white supremacy is out of control and, white nationalists are just running amok in this country and blah, blah, blah. And pretty much that anyone who's pretty much into guns or any conservative issues, etc., should be under the microscope for being, trying to overthrow the government. I'd like to remind them that a lot of the things they use as an example of why this is true, like the insurrection on the 6th, if you look at all the people that showed up, only a small portion of them actually went inside the building and did anything illegal. So the vast majority of people showed up, didn't want any part of anything illegal. And those were probably some of the most conservative, more radical members of the conservative community. And still, like I said, only a small percentage participated in anything illegal. Now, I'm not saying white supremacy and racism, etc., isn't a problem in this country, and that terrorism, domestic terrorism, isn't a problem in this country. Domestic terrorism has pretty much historically always been a bigger risk to us than international terrorism. It's a little easier to strike at something you're already a part of than it is to actually travel to something, get through, get the materials, etc. So, 9/11 was kind of an outside event, outlier event. Usually it's domestic terrorism that's a bigger problem, like Oklahoma City, etc. That hasn't changed. But like I say, you've seen them, these people on the left, trying to use white supremacy and racism and pretend like they're a large percentage of the people in this country to justify the government partnering with private industry to spy on us. It's bad enough they've been doing this, the government's been doing this since 9/11, because of the Patriot Act, etc. Now they basically want to expand the mandate that private companies under the direction of the federal government will spy on us also. So that is very unsettling to me. I don't know about other people, but I think that's one of the most un-American things I've heard of in a long time. Not only the idea that companies would be spying on us, because they do that already. I've already, become inclined to the fact that if you use their product, they're going to spy on you to one degree or another so that they can market your products, because that's the whole point here. These social media companies aren't providing us platforms out of the goodness of their heart because they want everybody to come together and they care about family. No, they want to learn everything about you and sell you stuff that you'll buy. So I'm used to the fact now that if I Google something, I'm going to see ads for it for the next week. But there's a big difference between Google taking your information and using that to target you with ads and the government directing them what information to take. That doesn't have anything to do with marketing, and then having them turn it over to the government automatically. This is what they're suggesting, that companies like Google, Facebook, etc., they monitor you, they monitor for certain things the government tells them to monitor for, and that they report directly to the government. And I'm sure the government is going to make this worth their while monetarily, which is even more scary because I think we know all these companies will do anything as far as it's profitable. So to me, this is kind of disgusting. This fact that the government wants to turn private industry into a spy agency for the government. The government, if it's for the people, by the people, should be protecting us from being spied on by private interests, not encouraging it. So this is just disgusting to me. I mean, it's very frightening. This is very Orwellian as far as I'm concerned. And I think most people out there know I'm not someone who gets online and screams and yells and tries to panic people or anything like that. But this whole notion, like I said, of turning Google and Facebook, etc., into extensions of the FBI and the CIA is kind of scary. And it's something we should all be against, and we should let them know we're against it. And some of the excuses they're using to do it is just ridiculous, like I said. They try to pretend like, oh, the Klan. The Klan is such a pathetic little group of nobodies. It's not even worth worrying about. Now, does racism exist? Yes. Is it to the level it was in 1970? No. When I was raised, racism was much worse than it is today. And are some racists nowadays becoming more violent and more, angry and more vocal? Well, yeah, they had an environment where they thought they were more welcomed, so they got really loud. There wasn't more of them. They were just louder. They're a dwindling race. I don't think a lot of people care about that anymore. One of the people I was listening to on TV yesterday when I was watching this, this lady had a black female commentator, talking head on, I believe it was CNN, actually had the nerve to say that one of the things that's an example of this, one of the things that shows this is happening, is all these attacks on Asian people. It's part of that whole rise of white nationalism that's causing so much trouble in our country these days. And I'm like, is she going to sit there and pretend like that's actually true? Because I hate to break it to her, if you look at the attacks on Asian people recently, the vast majority of them are done by black males. How is that a symptom of white nationalism when black males are attacking Asians? I don't get that at all. They want to deny the facts there. That's just the facts. And I'm not saying that to be racist. That's just the facts. It's a good 85% of all the attacks on the Asian people so far, the ones that have been documented, have been by black males. Look at all the videos you see. Every time you see a video, it's a black man beating an Asian person. Yet they want to pretend that's white nationalism. And I'm not protecting white nationalists. I'm not condemning black males. I'm just dealing with the reality here. White nationalism is a problem, but it's not a big problem. I mean, it's a big problem, and a few people can do a lot of damage. So we have to pay attention to extremists. And if they say they're going to do something, take it seriously and try to educate people on reasons why they shouldn't be doing this stuff. But as far as using that as an excuse for the government to turn private industry into its own private spy network, no. White nationalism is nowhere near justifying something like that. In fact, there's almost nothing that would justify something like that. Because like I'm saying, the government should be protecting the people from having their privacy violated. That's what the Constitution is for. They shouldn't be actively participating in encouraging it, much less directing it. I don't like the idea of all these companies being in bed with the federal government to turn over all our information. Right now, at least we have a semblance of safety by saying, anything I do online is my private business. And the government, if they want to see it, they have to get a warrant. They have to have just cause. They have to get a warrant. They have to look at specific things, etc. And I have to give them a reason to do all that. But the way they want to do it now, it would just be, they begin basically monthly reports on people who search a dirty word or a word that they don't like, or maybe insurrection or overthrow or, rebellion, something they don't like. And how long do you think it would be until they start turning that to people who search for, I want to vote Republican, or how do I register as Republican, and like, oh my God, now they're targeted. Or people who join a gun forum or watch gun videos on YouTube, and then YouTube tells the government, hey, this person's watching a lot of gun videos. That wouldn't be very far down the line. So I just wanted to go on record to saying that this is something that really has me a little bit upset and a little bit concerned. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's likely, but I'm saying the idea that they're even floating this and some people are okay with it, it's just kind of disheartening that Americans would be okay with it, that they would be like, oh, that makes sense. We should have the private industry spying on American citizens just because they might do something wrong. No, that's part of the risk of freedom. Sometimes free people might do something wrong. You set up a system that punishes people who do something wrong. You set up a system that encourages people to not do things wrong. You set up a system that provides for people and helps people make good choices and have opportunities. That's what the government does. We, the people, do that as the government, because the government is supposed to be us working for our interests through our elected representatives. It isn't supposed to be us versus them, with them spying on us and now using private industry to do that. So like I said, this is something I don't like the sound of one bit. I do not support one bit, and I hope everybody out there that has a lick of sense to them is also as outraged by this idea as I am. All right, now that I got all that fear-mongering out of the way there, I want to move on from something terrifying to something kind of ridiculous. I want to talk about the fact that the new Kel-Tec P50s are now shipping. And that's not the ridiculous part, that they're shipping. The ridiculous part is, I think I might buy one. If I run across one, I see one, I'll buy it. If I get the opportunity, I will be purchasing one of these. That's the ridiculous part. Not only is it ridiculous that I would buy something that's a Kel-Tec or something that's polymer and a Kel-Tec, but that I'll be buying a $1,000 Kel-Tec, because that's what these are going for. $995 is the MSRP on these things. That is, I don't think there's 10 Kel-Tecs out there that are worth $1,000, much less one. And I know this gun's going to be an abysmal failure as far as performance, but I want to give it a try because, what are the odds that maybe it'll be good? I doubt it. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a gun that's held together with, star screws and bolts and it looks like it's basically been stapled together or put together in somebody's workshop. I mean, there's like star head screws holding things on, and the bodies in like two pieces just held together with nuts and bolts. And I mean, literal nut on one side, bolt on the other. I mean, just the cheapest way you could possibly manufacture something. So that price tag's pretty hefty, but it might be the world's best zombie gun. This is either going to be another huge Kel-Tec or it's going to be the world's greatest zombie pistol. Now, not only is the gun itself expensive, and if you're not familiar with the gun, and I have mentioned it already, this is the gun that they use that uses those FN magazines, the top loading magazines that hold 50 rounds of 5.7 ammo. I used to have a gun that used that. I forget what the gun's called right now. I'm blanking on the name at my age. I blank on a lot of things, but I've shown pictures of me with the gun before. But I used to own one. It was a nice gun. I just this was obviously a solution to a problem that didn't exist, and a gun that was designed for a round they wanted to make, or a round that was designed for a gun they wanted to make. Not really any necessity, but it was fine. But in this pistol form, like I say, this might be the best zombie handgun ever. 50 rounds of anti-zombie ammunition, that would be awesome. In one, basically a pistol. It's a big pistol, but a pistol. So I'm interested. Now, not only is it $1,000, but it's going to be very expensive to load it, because 50 rounds of 5.7 in this day and age is going to cost, every time you load the gun, it's going to be like $300, the way things are going pretty soon. But I'm hoping that won't come to pass. I'm hoping ammo will come back. But I just want to point out that they are shipping now. So if you see one out there in the wild and you're, like I say, like me, concerned about zombie preparedness, you might want to pick one up. But I would wait first and let other people give it a try. Let suckers like me be able to tell you how much it sucks before you run out and purchase one. Or just, if you're like me and you're willing to be a test subject because of, like I said, your desire to be prepared for zombies, go ahead and buy one. Let us know what you think as well. Because, maybe if 6 out of 10 of them are good, it might be worth trying. That's pretty hopeful for Kel-Tecs, but you never know. So that's what I wanted to talk about today during Gun Talk here, is I wanted to talk about the new Kel-Tec P50s, how they are shipping, how they are ridiculously overpriced, but how I'm still going to buy one. All right, I want to end the show today by letting everybody know that the new tiers are now up on Patreon. If you go over to Patreon now, you'll see the new levels which you can sign up. The old patches, the old stitched patches, are no longer available. If you're a member of that tier, you're locked into it. You don't have to leave it, but that's just for people that supported me early on. Those patches won't be available anymore. The new patches, which I just have artwork for up there right now, I don't actually have pictures of the actual patches, but I will have them soon. They are the, those kind of three-dimensionally PVC patches, different layers of color. They're the PVC patches, let's just say that. So the new patches will be the PVC. I do have the artwork pictures up for them on there, but not the actual patches yet. As soon as I get the patches, I'll put pictures of the actual patches up. But for now, it's just the artwork. Also, the new pin is up there for 2021, the new K9 pin. If you are a K9 unit leader under the 2020 pin, you don't have to sign up for the 2021 one. You're still a K9 unit leader, but if you want the 2021 pin also, you just have to go in and alter your tier. And that's the point I wanted to make to everyone. If you want to stay where you are, stay where you are. If you're not worried about getting another patch to throw in a drawer or whatever, you don't have to do anything. But if you're someone that collects patches and you definitely want the new patches or you want the new pin, well, then all you got to do is go on, select your sponsorship, your membership for my channel, and alter your tier. Make sure you select the tier to get the pin. Don't just go ahead and change your amount. Don't be like, I'm a $5 patron now, but I want that $10 patch, so I'm going to go change my donation to $10. That doesn't work. You have to go in and actually select the $10 tier if you want to get that patch. So go over, do that if you want to. Like I said, they are all there now. I even did include one new membership level, and it is basically a one-time, you only got to be a member for 1 month. It's a high price membership. It's $100, but you only have to do it once. You know, right now, like if you get a patch or a pin or something, you get the pin you get on your first month of membership. The patches you get on your second month of membership. But if you do this one, you'll get both the Deputy and the Posse patch and the 2021 K9 pin, all with just one donation. Now, you can continue to pay monthly if you want to, but you only have to stay a member of that one until it clears one time, and you'll get all 3 items, because people have been bitching at me like, I just want to do it once, and I want to get more than one of the items, blah, blah, blah. So that option's on there now, too. But go over, check it out on my webpage. You know, it's patreon.com/the Yankee Marshal. If you're already a patron and you don't care about having more junk to throw around, you don't got to do anything. If you want the new patches, you want the new pin, or you want to get all 3 of them at once, go over there now, change your tier, and get these sent out. I'll probably be sending them out as of next month, because there'll be some people that'll be eligible next month with these new tiers, because some of them are 1 month tiers and some of them are 2, so it'd be a month after. So just want to let everyone know that. And I also wanted to let everyone know that if you are due a membership patch or pin, one of the old ones, and you're worried because you didn't get it yet, well, I haven't sent them out in about 4 months. So people who became eligible 4 months ago and up, you know, till the current day, have not gotten them. I am sending them out this week. They are already packaged, enveloped, addressed, etc. So they are ready to go out. You should be getting them if you've been owed a patch for the last 4 months or so. Like if you signed up 6 months ago, you would have been eligible 4 months ago for your patch. So everyone who has signed up from 6 months ago on, your patches are in the mail as of tomorrow. So those are on their way. So to new patrons, welcome aboard. To future patrons, can't wait to have you. And to patrons that have been here for a while, thanks for staying with me. And if you're owed a patch, it's on the way. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I'll just sign off as usual by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, you know, it is what it is. It ain't so bad, but it could be better. And if we continue to ignore the fearmongers, the profiteers, the politicians, the talking heads, all those people that want to manipulate us through anger and fear just so they can profit off of us, if we ignore them and continue to fight the good fight, what things will be in the future is better.